Hey guys, so coming on to give an update on where we're at. So these have now sat, oh goodness, let's see, like 4.5 days probably, because that's how life goes for me. So more than enough, definitely cured. Now I'm not going to take this one out of the mold. You can see the divots that I was talking about. Like, that mold just gonna have them. It's just poofed up there. Maybe when there gets to be more weight in this from the next layer, it will level those out a smidge. But this came out truly and honestly stunning. So my plans with it would be is when we get to mixing some resin, we'll put a layer of clear, and then we'll pick just a couple colors to do really small things in to help like fill in gaps where maybe we didn't get as much of these beautiful colors that are coming through, and also to give it that more 3D depth kind of look that I'm going for. Plus, this has handles that we would attach, and I chose the wavy handles, not straight, so we'll want to pour these as well, because obviously these are connected, but one would go on this side, one would go on this side, and they just get screwed in, which we'll drill holes for at some point. So that's kind of where this one is. I'm glad that I got the chunks off of the coasters, because I can tell you with this one, that chunk right there is definitely, and these two over here are definitely pretty tight, and or not pretty tight. There was a piece of something, but I got it off. Pretty protruding and sharp. So definitely didn't want that on our coasters. So nice thing about these trays that I've discovered is this is really handy. So down here's our coasters. Look how pretty. I'm going to bring each one up. Try to get some good angles. That had like a chunk in it, but it's not like a thick chunk that's sticking up. But isn't that just gorgeous? I know you're getting the shine of the ring light that I have up now. So, but that is the glossiness and the shininess that you're going for. So look at that. Look at how absolutely stunning these are. Oops, it was stuck to the cup. Oop. Now we got that one bouncing. We're doing all kinds of stuff. So I do like these two that I did that kind of drawing into them. Those are cool. But I will say that there's something really appealing to me about these kind of more line wavy ones. I really like this one. Something about it just really makes me happy. And then this one's a little bit more like free flowing, because it was the first one that we poured, so that resin was more fluid at that point. The resin was a little bit thicker. Gave us more crisp lines. So, you know, it just kind of varies. You can tell, if I remember correctly, like I did this one, and this one, and then this one. And they just all kind of ended up really different. But, so cool. So cool. Alright, so, next step is, oops, that ring light just sort of fell. To kind of do a cleanup of these. Here's the great thing about your wax paper is, or parchment paper, look at that. These are kind of cool. They just pop right off. They're really pretty too, but they just, you know, clean it up just like it would be if that was on silicone. It just pops right off. Those might be fun to put in some sort of earring. So I'll probably just put those, I'll keep shifting, in like this little medicine cup just to hang on to them for a project. Might be kind of silly, but hey, we're rolling with it. So we'll just put them in there. Maybe if we can grab them. And that's kind of fun, right? Okay. So this is why we taped them. Look at all this. So this is what I would call an alligator tear. It's a very 3D drip. And that's what I was worried would happen, and then that makes it really hard to get off. So we are going to remove the tape. Probably going to take, I'm going to zoom y'all in because I need to be flat on the table, and I know I want you to be able to see. An X-Acto knife just to get up underneath our tape. This was, you know, just some Dollar Tree masking tape, so it's not like super expensive tape, but look at how that just popped right off. Like, oh, we're not getting a good clear picture, but just right on off. Now I don't know if these will come off the tape. I mean, because they're pretty cool too. If we got them to lay flat, we might just pop them in our little medicine cup while we're at it. And the only thing I would say be cautious of when you're pulling up your tape is to make sure with your X-Acto knife you're not scratching up the bottom of your coaster, especially since this is a ceramic coaster. Oh, well, that was nice. Note to self, don't put that while we're shifting around. You know what I might do is just take this right on off. There we go. There we go. I'm going to just try. Look at that. And I'm just, you know, stacking that up essentially into a pile that will just get tossed. And it may not come off, like that didn't come off the prettiest, but that's okay. Like, we'll get it. We just gotta get the, like, resin went underneath this piece of tape, so it's somewhat like protruding. We just gotta get that seal broken with the resin. Now ideally you could come in at about the 8-hour mark and your top should be pretty well solid. Maybe not fully cured, so you'd want to make sure that you weren't you know, on an uneven surface or handling the fronts a ton. But ultimately, you should be able to take this off right around that 8 to 12-hour mark, somewhere in there. And at that point, this would probably be a little bit more pliable and have the ability to come off just a smidge easier. You could also then be able to take your heat gun and loosen those edges with the heat gun a little bit too. We could probably do that. We might try it on one here in a minute just to see if it helps at all. But I think ultimately it's just going to take some patience and working of these. Which is another reason why this episode is going to get multiple parts. Because we will not pour resin in this episode. This episode's all about the coasters. Because really, that's the focus of this particular series is the coasters. And then next episode though, I will be working on finishing that tray. Now we had some color bleed under. The color I'm not so worried about bleeding under. I was more concerned about the resin and having those alligator teardrops, as I call them. I don't know, I said it in a previous episode, it's been probably quite a while in another series about that. I was always taught that those, if you were painting and you had a drip like that, it was called an alligator tear. And the handyman that told me that would be like, you gotta make sure you can help paint, but you gotta make sure that you don't get alligator tears. And I was like, what? And so he called them alligator tears. I don't know if that's a thing. I've heard other people say they've never heard of that. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, that's what I knew him as. Now I'm running into some issues on these little foam stoppers. Foam feet. This tape is really sticking to them. So we may end up having to take those off. We'll see. And then I might have to order some new ones to put on, because these coasters definitely need those buffer feet on there, or you could put like a cork board round on it. So we'll see here. We'll see how we do. For now, we're going to keep trying to save them. That's our goal. Keep saving them. So yeah, I don't know if the alligator tear things was just something he made up and told me, or if that was just an Arkansas thing, or if that is really a thing. But it clearly has stuck with me, because I was a teenager then, and it stayed with me all these years. So see, we're getting a pretty good clean on our edge, which is what we wanted. I might need to Dremel just a smidge right in here. It's a little thicker. We ended up with a little bit of a lip and a little sharpness there. So I think a little Dremeling won't hurt to get that cleaned up. And I'm just trying to get a piece started, but it is really stuck in there. And that's the other thing. I probably should have done this sooner, but life has not allowed that, because this tape gets really sticky. And so it now has gotten so sticky that, you know, it's really stuck on there. Which obviously that's ultimately what we wanted. But now I want it off. I'm like, come on. So as you can see, this does take a little bit of finesse and patience and time. Let me try something. Try some tweezers. Yeah, I can't get enough of a grip on it. Okay. I was just curious if I could get enough of a grip, then I was thinking that might help me, but I feel like I'm better off to be able to use my X-Acto knife and then get enough of a grip with my fingers. You know, sometimes you just can't replace your own fingers. They just do the trick way better than anything else does, and that's fine. You know, just keep working it. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think a little Dremel around the edge is going to be the trick for that. So we'll wait to do all those together. The nice thing is we're getting a nice clean cut from the sides, so we're not ending up with it peeling up the side of our coasters. Now, I probably still will edge these with a gold paint pen, just to give them that final crisp look. Goodness. A little bit of thumb grease here. Work that off of there. It's really stuck sticky wise, so just needed the extra thumb rubbing on it to get that off. And there's like 2 layers of tape right here, so that's also posing a little bit of a challenge, but we're getting it. We're getting it. Like, see? It's a coming. Just super slow. Okay. Almost. I honestly wonder, rather than me pulling out the Dremel, I think I just made my answer for this. I think I have it. I'll show y'all what I'm thinking. Ugh, that is just so sticky. Okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm thinking just a nice little bit with my deburring tool might be enough to handle that. And that definitely has a little bit of tape in it, so that's perfect. It's just taking that last little edge of tape with it, taking the sharpness off of it. Yep. And that's going to save us creating a ton of dust with the Dremel, which is nice. So if you can use your deburring tool, that's going to be your best bet. Now, if you're not great with your deburring tool, get out your Dremel and just Dremel that down a little. But if you can do your deburring tool and keep a nice clean edge all the way around, that's really all we needed on that. And that got that to where it's not sharp anymore. There's a little sharpness right there, but that's like in this part that's sharp. So let me just see if I can't pop that piece off. Yep, it came off. Let's see, this piece is trying to come off. Let's see where it started, but it hasn't popped up. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I can run my fingers all the way around this and not catch a sharp spot, which is what I wanted. And then our front, ended up with a little tape there, but there we go. Now our top of it looks beautiful, right? So I think the last step is just to paint these edges, but we'll do that all at once. So let's finish getting all of this off. We've got 1 done, 3 to go, just in case anybody's wondering. Anybody like me going, how many of these do we have to do? So if you're not interested in chit-chatting, I would say fast forward to the next step and I'll go over painting the edges. But if you want to chit-chat and watch me do this, then stay on, because we're going to keep rolling. And plus you might see some little hiccups like this where we ended up with resin all around this little padded foot. So that's going to be something fun. So you can fast forward and potentially miss a few tips and tricks, but also I get it. But you know me, I'm not going to fast forward or speed through this. I want y'all to have a good understanding in real time what a project takes, so that you can determine if it's the right project for you. But anyhow, I don't know how everybody else's week is going. Mine's been a little bit bonkers, but you know, we're cruising. Monday woke up to no water pressure, water all by our mailbox coming out where the water company line comes in. So luckily they came out, fixed that. We got water pressure back. Yahoo! So thankful for that. Then, let's see, Tuesday, my husband chipped a tooth on a mint. So, yay, he was thrilled. Not so much. Tuesday night, he was mowing and weed eating. Accidentally didn't know that we had a bunny nest up against the house, a bunny burrow nest, and all these bunnies, 4 little bunny rabbits, came hopping out. He was like, oh my goodness. So he's calling me, I need the kids, I need you, come out. We gotta get these bunnies back in their nest. So we had 4 little baby bunnies hopping all over. 4 of us, you know, oh, there's bunnies, what do we do? So we're Googling, we're chat GPTing, we're trying to figure out, can we touch them? Well, then one got stuck in, like, the netting that your grass, most neighbor, you know, like when they do the grass lawn for a big neighborhood, you know, that netting that the grass rolls out on, essentially. So it was stuck in that. I'm trying to help it. It's screaming bloody murder. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So ultimately, I had read that if we touched them, the mama wouldn't disown them. So I was like, we're just going to have to catch them. And then we had to create like a shelter to keep them from hopping back out for a little bit till they could settle back down underneath their, in their burrow, in their nest, so that they would stay there. So we created a little situation with an Amazon box that kind of gave us a border. Oh, this is peeling our coaster up a little bit. Do you see that? It's gonna be what it is. I gotta get this off the bumper. So we created with this Amazon box like a 3-sided barrier, so that this one in particular kept trying to escape and run away and would not settle back into the nest. And so it's like, you gotta try to keep him in till mama comes back. And the moms don't come back usually until dusk and dawn. They only visit like twice a day, which is pretty wild. But and I knew that from previous years of researching. Alright, I want to be careful here, guys, because I don't want this to take a big chunk out of our side. I'm slowly but surely getting it. And it might just be where it's at. Because I don't know. I can get it more off of there without... I do think there's a piece of tape still in that. Yeah, there's definitely tape in there. So, anyway, and one then decided to escape again, so we had to kind of create a barrier that the babies couldn't jump over, but that the mama could, and then hope that she still would visit, and pretty certain she did. I took the box off here today. Tonight I took it off because I don't want it, it's supposed to rain this weekend. I didn't want it to get soggy and collapse on them either. You know, we're just got multiple situations with it that I'm trying to avoid. And so yeah. Okay, see, this is what I was a little bit worried about, that we start messing with this and it's going to start peeling up our sides, and I don't want that to come up and over. Now that, I think we will be okay. I might put a little bit of UV resin on it just to smooth it out right in there. I think that's what I'll end up doing. Okay, that was fun. So, yeah, I ended up, I don't know what I was saying, the box, I ended up taking it off so that it didn't collapse on them, but we looked tonight, and it definitely looked like Mom had been back, but we looked tonight, and the nest is all intact, and I think they're still in there. I wanted to look a little more, but I also didn't want to have them go hopping everywhere, and we looked like, I'm sure if neighbors were watching, which I think there were a couple neighbors watching, as we like ran around the yards, and we lost one for a little bit. Finally, just happenstance, found it, and they're fast, like super fast. And then they're so tiny, you're like, I don't want to step on it, and pick them up, and they start screaming, and you're like, I'm trying to just help you. You know, I was worried they were going to bite too, but they didn't, which was cool. And then, yeah, so then we were looking at it, and I saw movement in the nest, so I was like, okay, I think they're there. But they apparently only stay in their nest like 3 weeks. And then the bunnies like start exploring, and they end up like going out on their own. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty wild. Like, bunnies don't need much time at all, apparently. So, that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So we had that. That was entertainment last night. Kind of funny, comical. Yeah, I was cooking dinner, and my husband's like, I need y'all. So we're like running out, and I'm turning the stove off, trying to, you know, go help, and just look like a bunch of crazy people in our backyard running around. And then, and we missed the parent night at our middle school for our youngest. Luckily, we went to parent night for the oldest a few years ago, so I think we're okay. But, you know, still was like, oh, that happened. And then, let's see. Oh, then this morning, my husband was showering, and the shower head broke. So, luckily just a plastic piece, but we've needed a new shower head for a little while. So, Amazon to the rescue. Shower head arrived here today at 3. He had a dentist appointment this afternoon, so he got done at the dentist, came home, installed the new shower head. You know, just like, can't make it up. My favorite saying right now is life be lifin'. It's a lifin'. So, you know, what are you going to do? Not much you can do except just keep rolling. Roll with the punches. But I told him he's done now. He's had his 3 things. He disturbed a bunny nest. Oh, did I scratch this up somehow? I don't know how I would have scratched it unless just it being on there. He had a bunny nest disturbance. He broke a tooth and had the shower head. So I'm like, we're good. Your 3 things are up. No more. I'm just dumping those shavies and this little bit of tape that I've managed to get off into my trash can. Don't mind the gross trash that you guys just got a close-up of, but that's how it works, right? Alright. Who's counting? We've got 2 more. We're halfway with this darn tape stuff. And it's going. I definitely think if I had done this a little bit sooner, like probably 8 to 10, 8 to 12 hours in, this would have been a lot easier. This one's actually not been horrendous, which is nice. It's been a lot easier. Ooh, a little bit of elbow grease. A little bit of elbow strength here. It tries to just peel right at that spot. I want it to come off. Just want it to come up enough. This one's actually gone a little bit faster, I feel like, which is nice. We got a little extra tape here, but our deburring tool can come along and catch that and get that cleaned up. Yeah. I just want to make sure that I'm not scratching my front. I don't know what happened with that one. I don't think it's probably going to be noticeable to anybody but me. You know. Me, the artist. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm dreading around this one. This one is going to need some extra encouragement, shall we say. Extra encouragement. Definitely with the ceramic on the bottom, that is a disadvantage when you're trying to get this off and the resin going into it, because it does, you know, pull up a little bit of that. Again, it is the bottom, so not like super concerned about it. But that resin definitely, when it seeps under that tape or gets that thick in that area, it just pulls the ceramic up with it. So just something to be, you know, aware of. Oh, we're gonna get it. Whew. I was like, can we do it? Can we do it? What's the other thing? This is sharp, so you want to be careful with it, but I can't have tape on it, otherwise I can't get a good grip around. And yeah, I just like to check it with I do the finger test. Oh, this cracked a little bit here. And it's peeling that back. So again, I'll probably just do a little bit of UV resin painted on there just to smooth that out. Okay. Anybody's counting? We are on the last one. This one looks a little interestingly fun. So we'll see how it goes. But hey, we've come to the last one, which is nice because this part is definitely tedious. This is where if I was watching somebody else's video, I'd be like, okay, are we done? That's why I said, if you want to, you can full on skip ahead. You know, all my time in Arkansas, like, I mean, obviously we had bunnies and I saw bunnies, but I don't remember ever coming across a bunny nest. That was kind of fun. Came across our neighbors behind us came across a bunny nest last year, and the girls got to see the bunnies, and that was cool. And we just left them. They were still young enough, they weren't hopping. These ones last night were like, hoppity hop hop. Luckily, my husband didn't hurt any of them. It just tore up their nest a little bit, which I was able to put back the covering on. A couple of them, they wore themselves out, I think, so quickly. I was able to just get them back in their little burrow and tuck them in. Then we had two that were just, oh my goodness, those two had hopped all over and they still just wanted to keep hopping. I'm like, can y'all just curl up with your brothers and sisters and go to bed till your mama comes? She'll know what to do. So, yeah. But Anyway, yeah, so all my time in Arkansas, I don't think I ever came across baby bunnies. Came across baby mice before. Those are, I don't know if you've ever seen them in the zoo. They're just, or like the hairless moles. That's what baby mice look like. It's just weird. I don't really care for that. But we've been seeing a couple adult bunnies around, so I'm sure there's more nests somewhere. Look at that. That kind of came off nicely. Yeah, growing up on a farm, saw all these things. Saw a lot of things as being raised out in the middle of nowhere. But it's now become kind of a city girl. Kinda. I don't do good with spiders. Don't give me spiders. Ew. I had the bug guy at the office today and he was spraying. Specifically, we've had some issues with ants at our office, but obviously they spray for spiders too. And I was like, okay, good. So I've had a couple spiders recently in my office, and that's been something. You know, been something. Oh, come on. Yeah. This one wasn't awful. That, or I'm getting better. I think it was that second one that did me in. It had a lot of work to be done. It had a lot of drip over. See, this one also looks like it got a little scuffed. Huh. It's interesting. Alright, let's just use our deburring tool. Yep, take that little bit of tape and resin off the edge. It's so sticky. So sticky. It's just the tape. It's the glue on the tape that's making that really sticky and hard to use the deburring tool. Just took another whole strip off. Nice. That's why we scuffed our fronts up though, because I knew that if we didn't scuff up the top, that the resin would not stick to the ceramic because it was so sealed smooth, which I think is why it just easily peeled right off. This one might just peel all the way off, all the way around. It's kind of acting that it might do that. And I'd rather it do that here in my studio than, you know, give it to a customer and have it peel on them. So I just kind of encouraged it. And it's very, very thin. I mean, look how thin that is. This one didn't have a much overage until we get right here. And then it does have more. Ouch, went up under my nail. That's lovely. Okay, well that worked. It just peeled right off. We're gonna, it's not gonna peel off the top because there's enough of a barrier there. It's not peeling there. And that's again why we buffed it up so that it had something to adhere to, opposed to that smooth ceramic. I probably should have, in hindsight, maybe buffed up the sides too. Oh, that's really sharp right there, but that just popped off. So now I'm wondering if I should just peel all of these to an extent. trying to save underneath my fingernails, but they honestly are the best thing that's working for this. Man, if only the underside would have peeled that easy. But you know what? It's all good. It's all good. So that is a learning curve, but not one that's not detrimental or anything. So I'm okay with it. See that one up underneath the fingernail, which is what I was kind of wanting to avoid, but it definitely is easier with my finger. There we go. Cool. Okay. So that one's good. That one's good. Let's see these. This one's on pretty thick. It's got a spot here though that it might just take all this kind of off. So let's just see what happens. It's also trying to take some of the ceramic part off, but let's see. Let's see what happens. You know, one of those that, I don't know. This one I'm not feeling so confident about taking that off, but maybe it's fine. Yeah. Okay. I just don't want to, where it's real thick here, I just don't want it to try to take off our whole top part. But again, I'd rather do it in the craft space than the customer have, or a friend, you know. I don't have plans with these. This is just more me playing around and just learning. Oh, I don't love that, but okay. Let's see if it can. It gets so thick right in here. This one I probably should have tried the UV resin, but at the same time I'm a little bit worried that the UV resin wouldn't stick to these sides either, because there's nothing for it to grip onto. So we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep riding this wave, alright folks? Just gonna keep riding it. Like, it is what it be. Now right here, this is the one that had the little dent, so I don't think it's gonna come out of the dent, which is fine. I'm fine with it staying in the dent because we're ultimately gonna paint the sides. So I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried is I want any that's gonna come off to actually come off, so that I can give it a clean finish. Oh, man, we're only like halfway. Dang! Oh, goodness. Anybody have any suggestions? Somebody watching is like, hey, what if you try this? And I hope you leave it in the comment so that you can tell me how you would have done it different, so that maybe I can learn from you, because I don't feel like I'm doing the best a job with it, to be honestly speaking, you know. But we're cruising, semi. This one I think still had tape right here. Yeah, I didn't get this one as cleaned up as I did others. Oh yeah, because this was the second one and it was a pain in the rear end. That's why. Now it all makes sense. Right? Look at that. Look at that. It's coming along so good. Yep. We're getting closer. Right here is being really difficult, but oh, that was satisfying. When it finally let go, I was like, oh, look at that. That's satisfying. Oh, my hands are so dry. So dry. Yep. This part is definitely taking longer than I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh, because again, some time blindness on my part of like, oh, it will take like 5 minutes to just take the tape off the bottoms. And then maybe 5 minutes to, you know, kind of clean them up. And then maybe 5 minutes to do the edges with the paint pen. And then, yeah, it'll be a 15-20 minute tutorial. It'll be fine. That will be great. It will be a shorter episode, but that's okay. We can have a shorter episode. Yeah. Shorter, they say. Oh. Somehow I got sticky stuff up here from the tape. I'm sure it's glue from the tape. Gotta be careful, because normally I would just use a little bit of rubbing alcohol, but because this is resin, I don't want it to fade the rubbing alcohol, or the resin. I don't want the rubbing alcohol to fade the resin. So a little bit of water help pull that glue up off of there. Okay. Last one. Did we have it do any lifting? This actually one didn't. So the question lies in, is it gonna stay or is it gonna go? I think it might stay because it seems to have a pretty good seal, and it doesn't seem, I say that and then I find a spot that's lifting, so it's gonna go, you know, just gonna go. Now, if you could just go all the way around like that, that would be just phenomenal. Thought maybe it was gonna do it for us, but it decided, nope. Just kidding. It's not going to. but because it is a little bit thicker, it is coming off somewhat okay. I almost feel like I should have just taped the edges, but I don't know. I don't know. Hippie what hippie. We're almost there. So we'll just, you know, keep rolling. Keep rolling. Alright. Let's get up under this and take this last strip off. But it's just coming in chunks. I don't like that. It's like if it's super thin, it comes off, or if it's thicker, it comes off. But if it's this like in between thick and thin, it just does not want to go in one big swoop. And I'm like, can we just come off in those big strips? That would be so nice. It would be so, so nice. If you could be so kind as to just, you know, come off in a strip, I'd appreciate it. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. A little bit better. See, just better with my fingernails, for sure. Okay. I would say this is why I don't have fingernails, but you know what? My anxiety and ADHD trait of biting my nails since I was a kid. Yeah, that's why I have no fingernails. Okay. Yay! So excited now that that part's done. Question. Did I throw my lid to my blade away? Oh, no. Here it is. Whew. I'd have been sad if I had to go through the trash for that. So thankfully I don't. I'm going to put that away. I'm going to dump this trash into trash can. And then let's paint these edges. What you say? So I got resin. I love it. I just have it dusting now so I don't end up painting it. Painting my tray. And then let's grab an acrylic. Actually, let's see which one I'm going to use. Okay. Uni pin, marks on anything, gold. This is oil based. So definitely gotta shake, shake, shake because it will not mix properly if you don't. It does smell like spray paint. Just so you know, that's just part of that type of pin. So if you don't like that, this is probably not for you, but it will mark anything, including your skin, just so you know. And then all we're going to do is do a little painting around the edge. And I am trying to kind of go right on up. It's going to show some of these imperfections, but that's okay. It's overall going to give a more finished, well-balanced look. Now, we have to be careful of a couple things. We don't want to go so fast that we end up slipping and going onto the front, because it's really hard to take it off of resin, and it dries really quickly, so you don't get a lot of work time with it. Second thing we got to be careful of, look here where we've chipped that, it's not as shiny or smooth. That's going to show the imperfections that I was definitely talking about, but that's okay. Second thing, as we're spinning it around, I got to be careful to not dip my hand into the other side that is already drying. So just one of those things. Just want to be conscious of where our wet paint is, and I can tend to go like, oh, I'm going to just go really fast, and then I slip and hit the front, and then I'm mad that I did that because it's a pain to get off and a pain to fix. So I have to remind myself, just steady, easy does it. If you get a little too... Good thing is these have this kind of gold in it. Sometimes if you get too much, it can start to take away the paint in areas, so you just want to be aware of that as well. And then drop it on there, so that, drop it like it's hot, just so that we're not worried about it flying up a side when I set it down. So again, I'll just find what works for you. And I went with gold because that's what we accented with. I just think that's gonna be the pretty color to finish these up on their sides. Now if I scrape with my pen across the bottom side, I'm not going to be so worried. Yeah, it will make a mark and a line, but it's the underside of the coaster, so we're not really worried about that. We're concerned about our front. So far I've done pretty good though on the underside too. So just, oops, that felt like, ooh, it's feeling like we're slipping, but it didn't mark it, so hey, that's good. And the great thing about these is, like, it's gonna mark it and you don't gotta seal it, and it's finished. Sure, it's a little stinky. The other thing too is you just let this air out before you sell it or give it to somebody, so that they're not smelling that smell, because they don't want that. Kind of thing. So, but the smell doesn't last long. I run my little air purifier in my craft space when I'm crafting, just to help with taking out the not so good stuff in the air. There is like a little thin piece of resin that was on the edge there, and just getting caught up with my paint pen, going all crazy. But I also have these, I have a couple of charcoal things in here that are to absorb also the toxins and things, and you know, make sure that we're not breathing in all the time this stuff. So also you want a very well ventilated area when you're doing resin crafts. Maybe not all crafts, but resin crafts, yes. So one day I am going to have a room that is strictly that, or a she shed or something along that line. But in the meantime, we got what we got, right? Alright, so on to this last one. And then next week, this is for sure going to be at least a 4-parter, because oh, snappity, that was close. See, I got a little smidge distracted thinking and trying to go too fast and about messed us up. But 4-parter. First episode was our initial pour, covering our coasters. starting our tray. If you need to get more paint to come down in your pen, which is what I think is happening, you just press on it and then more will come in. So first episode, pouring the resin, mixing the resin, getting the tops of our coasters done, getting the first layer in our tray done. Second episode is taking the tape off of our coasters, and oh no, this could be a 5-parter. Oh, yep. Pretty certain. See, now I'm going to have to go back and check myself. I think the first episode was just us prepping the coasters. Second episode was pouring the resin, getting the tops done, and getting the first layer on our tray. Third episode, taking the tape off, cleaning up our coasters, and finishing them, giving the finishing touches on them. Then the fourth episode is going to be mixing more resin, pouring another layer in our tray, in the handles of our tray, and then potentially we will need to do another layer in it, so we may have a 5th or 6th episode, but if we don't need to do another layer, final episode will be us cleaning up the tray and getting it set for final features. I'm just going to check each one, make sure I didn't have anywhere that the paint resisted or didn't go. So maybe a little spot there. Can't tell if that's, there we go. No. Cool. These are already dry, by the way, the first ones especially. So I think this paint pen is about done, but we getting a little bit more in there. So, yeah, last episode to get our tray completely done and finished up. So definitely a longer series. You know, I've had some shorter ones. I like doing some longer ones just so you guys can see, because you get more. Oh, see, it's peeling the paint. Stop that. It's because I tried to go over it while it was still sealing or drying. Okay. It's kind of like a dry erase marker, you know. If you go over it with another dry erase marker, it just peels itself right up. So, let's zoom out on these and see what I'll think. Well, come on. There we go. It's like I'm pinching and pulling you out here. Let's look at these. Look how pretty. I do like them all. These two have grown on me a lot more than originally. So, I'm happy. I definitely have enjoyed those. And I can't wait to work on our tray next. So, hope you guys are enjoying. I will confirm. Don't hold me to the episodes just yet, since this is a work in progress. But hope everybody's week's doing better than mine. And a little bit smoother. Hopefully your husband didn't chip a tooth. Hopefully you didn't have a water break. Hopefully you didn't stir up bunny nests and chase bunnies for an hour. And, oh, hopefully hubby didn't break the shower head. You know, but luckily Amazon to the rescue and he fixed it tonight. So, it's all good. But, hope everybody else is having a great week. And I will see you again soon. Bye, guys.